We are living in what we would describe as the greatest financial experiment in history, where our monetary policy officials and the people who run our fiscal policies, so the people who spend your money in government, are doing things they've never done before.
It's been abundantly clear throughout all of financial history that there comes a point when heavily indebted sovereigns reach the point of no return, and then the only question is which market blows up first. Is it the bond market, or is it the currency, or is it perhaps both?
Because they can't tolerate deflation, they can't tolerate the equity market going down 70%, they can't tolerate goods and services going down in price. The only option to restore the pyramid is a significant rise in the price of gold.
Central banks will continue to create more currency, governments will continue to borrow, and that's why gold is in a new normal.
The rules in the gold world have completely reversed.
I think the main reason it's happening now is because we had the most extraordinary last gasp of sort of money printing during the COVID crisis. And as a result, that probably tipped sanity over the edge, full stop.
I suspect that, as almost any politician would do in that situation, Trump will see at least some inflation as part of the solution to solving the debt problem.
I think that at least one more inflationary wave is on the horizon. This will probably be the trigger for the next stage of this bear market in bonds.
So maybe you have one more year left of good times, and then it's off to the poorhouse for the people who don't own gold.
The gold in the financial system is the only asset that is no one's liability. So therefore it is not credit. It has no counterparty risk, it is not credit. All the other assets on top of it, like national currencies, bank deposits, equity, bonds, it's all credit and it's all debt.
And this is again where gold comes in, because one of the less acknowledged beauties of gold is that it's an asset that unlike government debt or fiat currency is nobody's liability. Gold does not depend on any entity, any counterparty for its credibility as an asset. It's completely independent. It floats above the fray of geopolitics. And that, I think, we're in such an extraordinarily challenging world that one characteristic is probably worth more than any other.
I'm calling gold the everything hedge. People, I think when you say it's an inflation hedge, which it is, you're not giving gold enough credit.
Fairly soon after that war erupted, the US in particular was perfectly happy basically to not fanny around, steal Russian foreign reserves. It is impossible to overstate the significance of that at a geopolitical level. So once again, we've got a country that's 36 trillion in debt, heavily dependent on the goodwill of foreign creditors, foreign lenders, central banks and sovereigns to keep that debt show simply on the road. So at a stroke, they basically signal to every unaligned country, you can't trust us anymore. So it is no surprise to see that the likes of China and Russia have been actively disinvesting from US Treasury bonds and buying gold instead.
Because of the impact of US sanctions and because of the rally in gold, while the US is busy stealing Russian Treasury securities, the Russian Federation has booked a $50 billion mark-to-market profit on the gold.
To any people that doubt this isn't of World War magnitude, now the North Koreans have joined, are supported by the Chinese, there's men on the ground. I think that is a multi-nation domain conflict. And sadly, NATO and America have shown a total failure to respond to give Ukraine the tools it needs to eject the invaders. And we will pay a heavy price.
But what we do know is this: the structure of the international monetary system is no longer compatible with the structure of the international system in all other dimensions, right? Military, political, economic, all of it. It just doesn't line up anymore.
China's been preparing for war since 2020 when the pandemic was released, and they have gone into the same paradigm that the Germans did with their 4-year plan, which was stockpiling, a fortress economy, and a 4 or 5 year plan where they either go to war or they go bust. And what we're seeing now with the implosion of the Chinese economy is not an accident. It's basically time running out for Xi to either move or go bust.
Emerging market investors, and that's not only the retail investors, but also central banks from emerging markets. They are now really the marginal buyers, so they're definitely more important than Western financial players.
Europe is finalizing preparations for a gold standard. And you can read all the quotes from the central banks. They're very much pro-gold. They want you to buy gold. They want the gold price to go up, not too quickly. They're very candid about this is Plan B, and if anything happens, this is what we're going to use to build a new system.
First chapter of this new gold playbook is actually the fact that central banks have become a major driver on the demand side.
Dr. Judy Shelton is world renowned for being a supporter of the gold standard. I believe that President Trump could likely nominate her again.
And my take would be that we're somewhere at halftime in this gold bull market.
Because there's only one way that this is going to go in terms of price. You'll have volatility, of course you will, but when the smoke clears and all is said and done, gold will have re-rated by an order of magnitude.
Because I simply cannot see any realistic way that the debt mountain can be usefully addressed. That for me, the adverse side, the obverse side of that coin is that gold prices continue to rise.
Now I've run some numbers here, and if we were to back a certain proportion of international trade with gold linkage, actual underlying the system, you're talking about gold prices in the tens of thousands, right? An order of magnitude higher than where we are today.
The sort of perverse thing about the situation we're in, that I think it's quite easy to identify what the red flags are. The difficulty is in then deciding which things you can still invest in sensibly. And for us, clearly gold is one of those things.
So if anyone believes that the current system is sustainable, be my guest. If anybody believes that there's turmoil in the world, whether that be on the front of war or finances or small growth, whatever, then this story might be compelling.
But now it finally seems like it's really starting to happen. So it shows, if nothing else, that things take longer to play out than you ever thought possible. But when they do start to play out, they then play out faster than you'd expected.